All right, so before we start this episode with the intro music and everything, we just wanted to just talk for a brief moment about what's happened in Jacksonville, Florida. There was a mass shooting that happened at a Madden tournament where there were 11 injuries, 4 deaths. The shooter has been found dead at the scene. There's not much more to say. This has been covered by gaming news outlets. It's really hard to hear that even in the gaming world, like, it's still not a safe area. We see school shootings all the time now at a video game tournaments. It's not safe. Be prepared for more video games make violent people arguments, but still keep in mind the families of those who are injured, those who've died at the scene. And remember to love each other. This is a platform where we're supposed to love each other. We're supposed to really show brotherhood here and sisterhood. So stay safe out there. Love everybody. Love gaming. That's all we have to say. It's just that we didn't want to make this like a gaming news section, just like within the same platform. It deserved its own platform. So stay safe out there, everybody. And with that, we'll just get right into the episode. What is good, all of our listeners? Welcome to another episode of Games and Groceries. My name is Adam.
I'm Liz.
And in this week's episode, we're going to talk about the major differences between being a man-child and just being a grown-up gamer.
Yeah.
There is some differences, and I think a lot of people just want to throw around the term man-child.
Oh, yeah.
But let's really talk about what the difference between being a man-child and being a grown-up gamer is, and maybe some tips of how to almost defend yourself when someone calls you a man-child with karate. So, before we get into that, Liz, how are you?
Okay.
Yeah? Why okay?
Because I'm exhausted. Today I was so exhausted, my boss almost made me cry.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it's not even like he was being mean. He just wanted me to do stuff that I just didn't understand, and he was getting so frustrated, and I just wanted to cry. I was getting mad at him too. The day went by fast, but it was a long day. And if that was any clue of how my week's going to be, it's going to be the longest 3-day week of my life.
And it's also going to be a really hot 3 days too.
I know. Hopefully they figure out the air conditioning in my building, because apparently it wasn't just my office. It was all the offices, at least on my floor, that were hot.
Yeah. I mean, we're recording this in our basement right now.
You're sweating.
Yeah, this is a back room in the basement. The basements are supposed to be the coolest place, and it's just...
Usually this room is really cool, which is why we chose to do it down here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, versus the sunroom upstairs.
That was toasty. Yeah.
If you listen to our first 3 episodes, how echoey and really poor quality, that's because it was in a sunroom.
Yeah, it was in the sunroom.
It's so hot down here in the basement that I was wearing this Eagles hat, fly Eagles fly, and I just had to take it off because it was just too toasty down here.
We matched today. We're both wearing green.
We're both wearing green.
Go us.
Yeah. So, with that being said, go us. Let's just get right into
table talk topics.
You have to say it like you love it.
That's how I say things I love. I say your name, Adam.
I say your name like Liz. So I will say Table Talk Topics, where we get a deck of table topics and we shuffle the deck for this added tension.
I don't know what goes through your mind when you shuffle this deck. Like, they're just questions that we've never read before. We take out the ones that we've already done. So I don't know what you think you're shuffling.
Oh, it adds tensions. Listeners.
I don't think so.
Oh, listeners, if you're at the edge of your seats, like, what question are they going to ask? They're on the edge of their seats right now because it's shuffled. No. Oh, my.
Just give me a card.
One more shuffle. All right.
Oh, goodness.
So.
You don't even shuffle them that well.
Hey, now. No need for insults. So, this week's table talk topic is...
What's the best new show on television?
What's the best new show on television?
Yep.
Wow. Well, we don't really keep up with, like, new shows.
No, but this is a good way to say how we're getting back into television.
This is great. Yeah.
So
not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored. So to give a little background, when we lived in Leola, we had a little cottage that was like the house behind the main house, that like a garage that they converted into an office that they converted into an apartment. And our rent went towards our cable as well. So they paid for our cable and we got whatever they had.
Yeah.
And at one point, our landlord was like fighting with our cable company. And so they started taking away our channels slowly. We just ran out of shows to watch. I think
we had like 5 channels.
I know. One of them was True TV. So at least we got to watch like Impractical Joke, like some of our favorite shows and stuff. But so we really stopped watching cable because there really wasn't any point, because every time we would go to watch something, we wouldn't have that channel anymore. So then when we moved here, we still watched, but we didn't really watch them. Really, the only cable we watched was like Big Brother.
Yeah.
And some of the shows, like I just started recently watching it because I started missing like watching my TLC and HGTV and stuff. And then...
Oh, I forgot to start a timer. I'll start. Go ahead.
And then this week, I don't know what brought it up. Adam was looking into PlayStation View.
Yeah.
And so we're like, and we wanted to rearrange the living room. So I'll have to show like pictures of our living room in this video because our cable hookup is only on this one wall and there's no way to move it. And to get it moved would probably take like 2 years to get someone to move it. So we were just kind of stuck with this one living room setup that we absolutely hated. And we're like, well, we want to move it over to the wall, to this one wall. And it would open up the living room wonderfully and we would have been so happy. So we look into PlayStation View and we're like, oh, this is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
$50 a month. You get almost every channel except for like
you don't have Nickelodeon.
Well, like, yeah. Like you can go on and see all the channels. We have the second level.
We have the core package.
Yeah. So we have the second level one. You get almost all the channels they offer except for like extended ones. Like we don't have Lifetime with it. Like we don't have all the extra ones, but we have a lot of channels and all the sports channels.
Yeah, I have my sports again.
Yeah, you have all sports channels. I have Hallmark. I have a ton of movie channels, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah, I have like NBA TV, NFL Network, and MLB Network.
Yeah, we have a lot of channels. And I have DIY Network, so I can watch Rehab Addict. Yay!
Yeah.
So we have all those. And then like the next level up has all the ones they offer except for HBO and Showtime. And then the Ultimate has every channel they offer plus HBO and Showtime. And that's like $80 a month. But one we're paying for is $50 a month. And it's pretty good. So we're just getting back into cable. So we don't really know that many shows that are out.
No.
I'm actually really interested in that show with Max Greenfield.
Oh, The Neighborhood?
Yes.
I think that looks stupid.
I think that looks a little funny. Yeah. I might try and watch an episode
saying that
or
because
two.
It's Max Greenfield.
Actually, he was like my least favorite character on that show.
Yeah.
He got on my last nerve. I really liked I don't remember the name of the show anymore. New Girl.
New Girl.
I really like New Girl. But no, I think it looks kind of funny. So I'm a little interested in that. But really, we don't watch cable.
Yeah.
We watch Big Brother. That's a really great show. It's not
new. Not new.
But there's a new season.
Yeah. A lot of shows nowadays aren't like, they don't get my attention.
Yeah, new shows aren't really that good anymore.
I just watched today on Netflix the new Dimitri Martin stand-up. And even that was kind of lacking. I used to love Dimitri Martin. And this one just felt like his old material, just recycled.
Yeah.
but it was okay.
Which is always sad when they do that.
Yeah, it just seems like all the new shows lately are just like, oh, like, how is that show? Eh, you know, like it's just kind of like meh. It's not like the days of old, like the early 2000s, you know, that is
like when Grey's Anatomy first came out. Who knew when that show came out? I don't know what season they're on. I don't really pay attention to the seasons anymore.
Neither do I.
But who knew when that show came out that they were going to go this long? Like,
but I will say though, if you're looking to ditch your cable though, I honestly recommend PlayStation Vue. It's steep, yeah, $50 a month for the core package. But man, wait till you see how many channels you get, man. It's like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. And you don't have to rent a cable box, and there's no hidden fees.
And you're not connected to a cable hookup, so we got to move our TV where we wanted, and I got to have my living room the way I like it. Yeah. And it looks fabulous.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So if you're looking to get back into television, and you're a sports lover like me, like I didn't have my sports packages.
Yeah, we didn't have any sports channels on the cable box we had.
Yeah, and all the streaming apps like NBC, SN, it's terrible. But yeah, highly recommend PlayStation Vue. What's the best new show on television? PlayStation Vue is the best new show on television. But yeah, not a lot of good shows. I almost watched Disenchanted or Disenchantment on Netflix. It's the one by Matt Groening. Groening.
I've seen it, but I didn't look into what it was about.
I heard again it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, and I almost watched the first episode today, and I was like, yeah, meh. But yeah, so not a lot of really good new shows.
I'm really like I watch cable, but none of the shows I watch are new.
Yeah.
I know there's a new on TLC. They're gonna have another show with a family with multiples.
Yeah, of course they are.
I know. Like they're gonna have another one, which kind of makes me scared that they're gonna get rid of Outdaughtered, which I really hope they don't. 'Cause I love Outdaughtered.
Yeah.
But they're having another one, so that looks interesting. But again, like it's another show with people with multiples. Yeah. But really, I watch the shows because I like families. Like Outdaughtered, I love Adam and Danielle. So if I don't like the parents, then I'm really probably not going to watch the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no new shows. I'm more of I tend to catch up like on Netflix and Amazon. I tend to just catch up on shows I wanted to watch when I was younger and either didn't or wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
Like when I was in college, I watched One Tree Hill for the first time. Little did I know it had just like finished like the year I got into college. But I didn't watch that when I was younger, so I got to watch that and Gossip Girl. Like that's more of what I do. I watch old shows I didn't watch.
I'm surprised how sheltered you were. You weren't sheltered, but you were sheltered at the same time.
Yeah, my parents had weird rules. Yeah. It's not that I wasn't allowed to watch One Tree Hill. I just didn't. I think when it started, I was too young.
Yeah.
And then, or maybe we just didn't have that channel. I don't remember seeing. I don't even know.
No, it was a local channel.
Oh, so we did have that channel. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't watch it when I was younger. I don't know.
Whereas
I can't explain.
I come.
But I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah, I come from a divorced family, so my mom was super strict, super strict Christian mom. Whereas my dad grew up in the 70s, and by like age 6 or 7, I was watching South Park. So yeah, I would go to his house for the weekends.
The thing is, everyone that lived around us in Philly watched The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I didn't. You want to know how common The Simpsons were when we were younger for kids?
Oh, I know. Because I was one of them.
Well, no, because I would be in school, taking a test in like the 2nd grade.
Yeah.
It would be a spelling test or a vocabulary test. They would give the definition. You had to give the word. My teacher would use a reference from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And I'd fail.
Yeah.
And I would tell my mom, like, Mom, I got that one wrong because she used a Simpsons reference. I'm not even allowed to, like, we were 7 and they were using Simpsons as references on our vocabulary quiz. I'm like, I can't, like, I was already bad enough at school. They couldn't give me anything. So, but that's how common it was for kids our age to watch it. I'm just like, I'm not allowed. Also, I don't know why. I wasn't allowed to watch Room 204 or 402.
That's probably good.
But I wasn't allowed to watch it, and I didn't see why, because I didn't. Was that a bad show? Was it like...
No, it's just crappy.
No, but yeah, like, was there any reason for my mom to not let me watch that, though?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Like, there were some things I questioned. I'm like, I remember one time my mom said that she thought SpongeBob was stupid when SpongeBob first came out. Mom said, that looks so stupid.
It is stupid.
Automatically, my sisters and I thought that meant we weren't allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it is stupid, but it's a good stupid.
But yeah, like we thought that her saying it's stupid meant we were not allowed to watch it. But then she's like, you guys can watch it. She's like, I just don't want to watch it.
So that wraps up our this week's Table Talk topics. What's the best new show on television? They can't see that. They'll just take a picture of it later. I can't reach that far. So, by me saying I can't reach that far, this podcast will be up on YouTube probably like around Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll take a picture now.
Yeah. So, this week's topic is what's the
best new show on television?
So if you're listening to this on the Anchor app or any other podcast app, literally you can find this podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Tweet at us at Gaming Groceries and use the hashtag Table Talk Topics. What's the best new show on television that you like to watch?
Yeah.
So that's this week's episode. And check out PlayStation View, honestly. If you're looking to ditch your cable, honestly, this isn't sponsored. I just really like PlayStation View.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I didn't look into it further.
That'd be awesome if PlayStation sponsored us.
That's not going to happen, babe.
I don't know that.
I do know that PlayStation doesn't need to be sponsor anybody. The whole purpose of sponsorships is so to get their name out there. And so,
can we get sponsored by Payless?
No, people know Payless. They don't need to be sponsored.
Steal.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, like Sony and Payless are in there like, oh man, people don't know about us. How do we get the word out? I got it. We go to a gaming podcast that has not even 100 listens per episode. That will get the word out.
Dreams. Let me dream.
Uh-huh.
Free shoes for everyone.
My goodness. We're more likely to be sponsored by Harpoon IPA than Sony.
Yeah, probably.
But anyways. But yeah, Table Talk Topics. So I just got an email. Finally. So I just pre-ordered Division 2 on Amazon before the whole 20% goes away. Which it came with a beta code. I finally got the beta code. Right before we started recording this episode. So I didn't really look into when I get the beta, but I have the code. And I think you play the beta 3 days before the public. I don't know. But I'm really excited to play it. So right after this episode, I'm probably going to enter the code and be like, when can I play it?
Yeah, right.
But the game comes out in March. I'm assuming I won't be able to play it like until December.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So that's not really part of the gaming news. That's just my own personal news.
You just wanted to talk about it.
I just wanted to talk about it. I'm really excited for Division 2. Like, I'm super excited for Division 2. I might be a little bit more excited about that more than Fallout 76, to be honest with you. The more information that come out about Fallout 76, it's
You're
weird.
Just getting weary.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people are getting more excited for Fallout 76, but the more I hear about it, I'm just like, I'm not hating it. I'm just more like, I feel like when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, I'm going to sink all my time into Fallout 76. But the more I hear what the game's actually going to be, I'm just like, I might play it from November until maybe January.
Yeah.
Like tops. So, but we'll see. It still sounds like a really good game, but I'm definitely less excited.
Yeah.
So let's get right into the gaming news this week. Our top 3 gaming news. Well, I'm going to move number 2 to number 1 about the Spider-Man prequel. I feel like I'm echoing a lot. I don't know why. I have a powerful lion's voice.
Okay.
I'm like Aslan or Oslin. Let's call him Oslin.
Let's not.
Let's call him Howard.
Let's not.
Howard the lion.
Even Floki looked up like, are you crazy?
So the Spider-Man prequel novel has just released this past Tuesday, August 21st. It just came out, called Hostile Takeover. Now, I learned about this book from the CAGcast, or from Cheap Ass Gamers Twitter, and they said, oh, it's on sale. Go buy it. I bought it on Wednesday thinking that it was a graphic novel.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure, definitely. And then I'm seeing that's 334 pages because I'm buying the Kindle edition.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, cool. All right, 334 pages of graphic novels. I'm down.
Yeah.
And I tell my friend about it, and he says like, oh, is it a graphic novel novelization? I was like, what are you talking about? Of course it's a graphic novel. And then I look through it. I'm like, oh, it's a novelization. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. It's being published by Titan, who normally does video game comic books, like the new Life is Strange comic book is being published by Titan, or the Assassin's Creed comics published by Titan.
Yeah.
So Titan publishes a book about a video game based on a comic book.
Yep.
And I'm like, why? Like, this is the perfect opportunity for you to make a legit comic book. But I guess Marvel and the whole team, like, I guess there was, like, issues with legal actions. I don't know. But it says on the Kindle edition, it takes about 5.5 hours to read. I've read it for, like, a couple hours, and I'm already on chapter 12. And it's a pretty easy read. Good. But it's apparently a prequel, like setting up the world of the Spider-Man game. Now that I have a PS4, I'm finally going to be playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I'm reading it. It's a good read. It's $5 on Kindle edition, I think. I bought it for $5. And it's a pretty quick read. It's a pretty good book. It's not the best, but it's just setting up the world. I don't really expect anything out of it. So, but yeah, it's out now. It's called Hostile Takeover. The Spider-Man prequel novel. Check it out on the Kindle edition or at your local book place. The place
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Bookstore.
The flea market.
Not flea market.
Restaurant.
Bookstore.
Where do you get books?
Bookstore.
What is book? Anyways. So for our second story, some developers came out from Gamescom. This was translated from German because the interview was in German. But apparently the developers have come out to say that the complete story of Assassin's Creed Odyssey will take over 100 hours to beat. The complete story. And I'm just sitting there like, what?
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours for our game. I feel like it's not going to be that good.
It's not going to be worth 100 hours. Like, it's going to take you forever because you're not going to be obsessed with playing it.
Yeah. I have about 100 hours in Assassin's Creed Origins, and that's with the story, some side quests, and both DLCs.
I was going to say with DLC.
With the DLCs.
That's a lot of hours.
And I definitely enjoyed Origins. But from what I'm seeing about Odyssey, especially as since day one Assassin's Creed fan, I've been playing Assassin's Creed games since the very first game. This is probably the least excited I've ever been for an Assassin's Creed game. And that's including Assassin's Creed Rogue. Yeah. I wish they came out to say that Odyssey was like Rogue in a way of like, this is kind of like a side game, you know?
Yeah, something that's not necessary for you to play.
Yeah. But they're still coming out to say like, no, this is totally canon. Rogue is canon, but it was more like a side story. Yeah. And I wish AC Odyssey was treated in the same way as Rogue. Yeah. But it's treated in the same way of Origins. I'm like, no, you're not on the same level. I'm sorry. I haven't even played Odyssey, nor do I plan to get it for a while. But 100 hours, like, it's just, that seems ridiculous. Yeah. They are saying that because there are two protagonists. Some people are saying that because of the two protagonists, maybe each protagonist has 50 hours. And to complete the story, it's still kind of like, why? I don't know. I feel like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is going to get... Now, when it comes out, I feel it's going to have the same treatment as Syndicate did, where Syndicate was seen, like, very first when it first came out, like, wow, this is a great Assassin's Creed game. Mm-hmm. Syndicate was so boring. It was so garbage. But, like, when it first came out, they're like, whoa. That's because it came out after Unity, and Unity was hot garbage when it first came out. But I have a feeling that it's going to get the same treatment as Syndicate, where Odyssey is going to come out, people are going to rave about it, and then they're going to sleep on it, and they're going to say, like, you know what? It's not that great.
I think what happened with Odyssey is that, so like they said, they came out and said that after Odyssey, they're taking a little break. Yeah. I think that's what they did. I think they made Odyssey in a rush to get it out so they could get to their break and work on other things. They didn't want to work on it anymore.
Yeah.
And they put it out. Instead of taking the break and taking the time to put it out.
Yeah.
Or holding off your break, be grown adults, do your job, put out a good game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they cut short because they didn't want to work on it anymore or something.
And I feel, like they put it on the rush and then they said like, oh, don't expect one in 2019. Well, like we weren't expecting one in 2018.
Exactly.
If Odyssey came out, if it came out a year after, like if it came out in 2019, I feel like it'd be more hyped. And
exactly. Like they could have taken their break in 2018.
Yeah.
Like and then they could have put it out in 2020.
Yeah.
They could have taken their break in 2018, said, we're working on a new one called Odyssey in 2019. It'll be released in 2020 or even the end of 2019.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they could have done this in a better way where they put out a better game.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because, like I said.
Because we weren't expecting it.
The day exactly. The day they showed it at E3, the very first thing that came out of my mouth when we saw it was like, that looks like Origins with grass.
Yeah.
And it just looks lazy.
All the gameplay I'm seeing is just like, I mean, a lot of people are saying like, well, what about Assassin's Creed 2 and then into Brotherhood? Again, coming from a kid who's played it from the beginning, yes, there are games that where it came out, it looked similar, but not like this. This looks like you said,
me, untrained eye.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Origins with grass.
I didn't even watch you play Origins that much. And I was like, that looks like the exact same map.
And you know how much I loved Origins.
I know.
Like, I loved Origins. I'm not even going to give Odyssey a chance.
No.
At least, if I see it on Black Friday for like $30, I might pick it up. But...
supposed to focus on others on Black Friday.
Selfishness.
That's okay. Your mom bought me a Christmas tree last Black Friday.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's where I get most of my games is Black Friday because, like, they get all these new games and it's like, oh, Assassin's Creed for $30. That's why I wait for like, or even Forza. I once picked up NBA 2K17 the same year for like what was it, $20? That same year.
Yeah, something. I think it was 20 or 30.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I played the NBA Live 19 demo. Hot garbage. That's all I had to say on the matter.
Moving on.
Hot garbage. 31st NBA 2K19 demo. We'll see. Our final story, and we're already on the half-hour point here. Almost. Yeah.
Almost.
So, this is a pretty big gaming story. So, and the big topic today doesn't need a ton of time. So,
no.
I definitely want to take not a lot of time, but a good amount of time on this news story. This just came out today, announced by Microsoft. It started as a rumor, and you see on my notes that I crossed out rumor because then it became official. It's called the Xbox All Access Pass. Okay, so let me briefly go through this if nobody's ever heard of this before. So it's a service, right, for 2 years. So you have this 2-year contract. The most expensive plan is $34.99 per month. Okay, for 2 years, and with $34.99, you get 2 years of Xbox Live Gold. You get 2 years of Xbox Game Pass, and then you also get an Xbox One X, which is pretty crazy. Now, in that $34.99, you're paying off that Xbox One X.
I'm just gonna do some math real quick.
I already did it.
You can keep talking.
I already did it. You're calculating. What's that?
Do you have it written down?
How much you're going to save?
No.
Oh, go for it.
How much it'll be in after 2 years?
Oh, yeah. Well, it will be $840 in 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So the most expensive plan, you get 2 years of Xbox Live Gold, 2 years of Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox One X, and for all those, like I said, you're going to be paying off the Xbox One X, and in 2 years you get to keep the Xbox One X, but you lose the subscriptions.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. For $21.99, it's the same package, but instead of an X, you get an S. So for a cheaper package, you get the One S. So for the X bundle, you save about $20 with it. But for the
$20 total, $20 a year.
What's that?
$20 total or $20 a year?
$20 total.
Okay.
But total for the S bundle, I think you save 130 if I did my math right. You just get to keep the hardware after 2 years, but lose the subscription. So before I get into this last note that I have here, I just want to say that I think this deal is good for anybody that's never owned an Xbox, like a 360 or an Xbox One, because I look at it like, wow, I can get an Xbox One X for $34.99, but then like, yeah, I get Xbox Live, but I don't have Game Passes because I've looked on Game Pass's like charts or their lists, and it's all games I've already played or I already own. So it's just kind of like, why am I going to pay $10 a month for games I've already played?
Well,
yeah.
For one, on the Xbox One X, they are made for the definition that the Xbox would be.
That's true.
So it'd be 4K resolution on all the games I'm assuming that are on there.
Not all the games, but
most
of them.
But you'll have better quality on some of those games.
Yeah.
And see, in my opinion, I think that's not good for someone who has never played Xbox, because then what if they don't like it? They're now stuck with it for 2 years. That's
true.
Instead of buying
like
it
you're on
outright.
A contract.
Exactly. Now, instead of, if you're new to Xbox, you buy it outright, and if you end up hating it, you sell it.
That's
you
true.
can't do that if you're stuck in a contract for 2 years. It's like a cell phone.
Yeah. Like I looked at these deals, like the monthly prices, and I'm not going to deny that these aren't good prices. Like I said, you save $20 in the long run. I really don't know who this is for. Like it's.
I'd get it.
Yeah, I would like
because we want the Xbox. You want the Xbox One X, and you get gold anyway.
Yeah.
So might as well get that cheaper for 2 years. You don't have to worry about renewing it for 2 years.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's meant for people like us who want it, but are kind of weary about the cost, and then you have to change everything over. Whereas on this, you kind of get everything.
I guess the only reason why I don't want this is I don't want another bill in my life. Like I looked at this and I was like, so
well, that's the thing. Maybe you have the option to just pay it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, pay the contract, but maybe it gives you the option to pay extra.
Yeah, this fall I'm already thinking about selling my current Xbox One, which is the Halo 5 edition, and then using that money to get an X.
Yeah.
And that's true. I looked at this. I'm like, it's a good price.
It is.
It really is. And you pay off the X, and then after 2 years, you get to keep it, right?
Exactly.
Same thing with the One S.
And then if you realize you don't use the Live, they don't renew it.
Yeah, that's true. So it's a pretty good deal, especially for the One S. Especially if you're just like, I just want an Xbox. I don't care about the graphics.
Yeah.
$22 a month. Like,
it's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
My goodness. Join the game.
Because Xbox Live monthly is $9.99 and Game Pass is monthly $9.99. So you're pretty much paying for Game Pass and Live monthly, and then you get a free Xbox One S.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't count the annual subscription.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's a good deal. I don't know if I would generally go out the doors and go get it.
Yeah.
And these are only being sold at Microsoft stores, so you can't just outright get it. We have a Microsoft store at the Roosevelt Field Mall, but yeah, it's. I look at it, I'm like, I'm not excited for it, but I'm also not against it.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing that I wrote this down last. It's only on Microsoft stores, and here's the thing: it's only for a limited time. It's only from today, August 27th, until December 31st. So at the end of this year, at the end of 2018. And the contract ends in 2 years. I think this all but confirms that the next Xbox will come out in fall of 2020.
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, what if they had this until mid-2019? Right. And someone got it mid 2019. So during E3 2019, right?
Yeah.
And they're stuck for it with 2 years, right? So their contract ends 2021. like summer of 2021, right? But in fall 2020, right, the Xbox Project Scarlet comes out.
Yeah.
And they're stuck with their Xbox One X.
Because they're still paying it off.
Because they're still paying it off. You know, I'm sure you can pay it upright, like, but
yeah.
it's still a thing. Like, you're still stuck with it while the Scarlet is coming out.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool because you get to keep your hardware after 2 years. So come fall 2020, right, when Xbox Project Scarlet comes out, you could then sell your Xbox One X because now you own it.
Yeah.
You can sell that and use that money towards...
And get the new one.
To get the new one. So that's what I find most interesting about this story.
Yeah.
Is that this pretty much... Yeah. I think it pretty much doesn't theorize it. I think it confirms.
Yeah.
Because I think they have that in their minds, Microsoft. That
yeah. They're not dumb.
Yeah. Like, we can't rip people off and be stuck in their contract because if they're stuck in their contract... That's less sales.
Exactly.
On Project Scarlet.
Exactly.
So.
And they're trying to get the Xbox One X out the door.
Yeah.
You know.
Before, like, Project Scarlet comes out.
Exactly.
So, I'm going to say it right now because of this. Project Scarlet comes out 2020. It comes out fall of 2020.
Yeah.
And I think this all but confirms it. So, if you're interested in this, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know if I want an Xbox, you know, like, it's too expensive right now. For as low as $22 a month, you get the Xbox One S, you get Xbox Live Gold, and Game Pass all for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a pretty good monthly payment. Yeah,
definitely.
You know? So, yeah, look into that. Xbox, I think it's called All Access Pass. That was what the rumor was calling it. But yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
But I think that last bit, like, saying like, okay, so 2020, we're going to see the new generation come out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that means that we're going to see the PS5 in 2020. We could see it 2019, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week's gaming news. There's a lot to cover there. Not really, but this week, I don't know. It was kind of like
it's a dry week.
It was a little bit of a dry week. Like, everything kind of piled on today. Like, Streets of Rage 4 was announced today, and gameplay for Cyberpunk 2077 came out today. Yeah, like, there was a lot of news that came out today.
Yeah.
So let's get into today's big topic, right? You know, Games and Groceries as someone who, or as a podcast, not somebody, but as a podcast that tries to ask the questions outside of gaming, outside of the box of gaming, right? Where we look at the real world topics and trying to answer everything. And this week's topic is going to be about what's the difference between being a man-child? Okay, cool. What's the difference between being a man-child and being a grown-up gamer?
Yeah.
So before I discuss, Liz, do you have any thoughts on it?
There's so many different ways to go with it. I think, the main difference is a man-child is someone who basically, I don't know how to put it. It's like someone who plays video games constantly. Like, that's their entire life. Like, they put that first. Yeah. And they don't really, and they're also usually the kind of men who they don't really have anything else to put first. Yeah. Like, so there's that. And then I think when you're just an adult gamer, it's just like you, where it's like you have your responsibilities, you do things. It's a hobby. It's something that you do to relax when you come home from work. Yeah. Whereas man children, I don't know how to put the plural sense of that. Men children. Man children. Little men. I think it's man children. Man children. Or man childs. Anyway, those people usually that like gaming's their entire life. Like they're like, it's like they're still in college. They're staying up till 2 a.m. playing video games when they have work at 9. Yeah. You know, like that's what I think of when I think of a man child. Yeah. And then so many other things that make them incredibly childish. Like, it's not just video games. Mm-hmm.
Now, I do want to preface this conversation too. When I say preface, we're already in the topic. Yeah. So that we understand that there's like many different life situations that happen that like, like I'll even share, like, when I was in Leola and I was in between jobs and I was working a security job at night.
Yeah.
So pretty much my day consisted of I would wake up. Yeah, I would wake up in the morning after working the night shift of security. I would wake up, I would work out. And then after I was done working out, I would apply to 10 to 20 jobs. About 10 to 20 jobs per day. And I would like be following up emails, but I had the entire day until I went to my security job.
Yeah.
So it was just kind
and
of.
I was gone all day. I worked during the day.
Yeah. So you
I
worked during
literally
the day.
just sat at home waiting for me to come home.
So instead of just twiddling my thumbs, like, so
Yeah,
what
we
do I
didn't
do?
have pupper yet.
We didn't have a pupper yet. I had no other responsibilities except to do laundry, maybe clean the house every now and again, cook dinner, but. I would just play video games all day just to kill the time.
Yeah.
Because I had so much time until I went to do my night job. And in the span of like 6 months, 5 months, I beat 20 games in a span of like 5 or 6 months.
Well, towards the end, we made that a goal for you.
Yeah, I was up to
like, oh my, you were like so close. You're like, oh my God, you have to get to 20 before we move.
Yeah, I think I was at like 12 when I was like, you know what?
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it before I get a new job. I gotta beat at least 20 games.
Yeah. But see the difference between like, yeah, you played video games all day,
Mm-hmm.
but you still had adult responsibilities that you fulfilled.
Yeah.
Like gaming still wasn't your entire life. Like you still made sure I got dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We still went out and did things. We went to church. We hung out with your mom on Sundays. Like you didn't put gaming first in your life. You weren't staying up late. You weren't going late for work because you had to finish a mission or something. Like.
Yeah.
That wasn't your main concern in life.
And that's the thing. It's just like there's got to be a cutoff point, and you have to have some responsibilities. And I think after you leave college, so let's say I'll say the difference between just a teenager and a man-child, I think the cutoff period is like 23, 24, when you should be thinking about.
I think it's when you graduate college.
It's about 23, 24.
It's 21.
Not for me.
Normally, it's 21.
I was good at college. But yeah, so no, I would still say 23, 24 because you have that rocky period after you graduate college that you're just trying to adjust to the world. But about 23, 24, you know, you should be looking towards other responsibilities.
Yeah.
And even if you live with your parents, like, I totally understand if you're still living with your parents.
I'm not saying living with your parents is being a man-child.
Yeah, I didn't move out of my mom's house until I was 25.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Anybody who's in college or in high school, life doesn't work out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
Like I was planning like, oh yeah, when I graduate college, I'm just going to get a job in my field, youth ministry, and leave my mom, and boom, we're good.
Our plan was that you were going to graduate, you were getting a job, and you would move into the apartment we were going to live in when we got married then in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, you were going to live there, and then I was going to move in, like, the week before the wedding or something.
Yeah.
That did not happen.
Another bit of news, since we're talking about gaming news, life doesn't go the way you want it to go.
You've been warned.
You've been warned. So... Yeah, so we understand that, like, if you still live with your parents, guess what? We understand life doesn't go the way it's planned.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also a difference between I'm living with my parents to you aren't moving out.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is that, like, you're not really contributing to the household.
Exactly.
You're
even when you were living with your mom, even though you didn't have enough money to help her, you still contributed to her house. You made her dinner because your mom, when you lived there after college, she was working till 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And you cooked dinner, you kept the house clean. Like, you didn't contribute financially, but you contributed in a big way for her.
Yeah, because when I came out of college, I was paying like $700 in student debt per month.
And you made like $24 a week.
Yeah. I was doing like a really crappy job. I think max I got like $300 per month, and I was still looking for work.
Yeah.
But I still contributed. But if you're living with your parents, I think a man-child is someone who still lives with their parents, and when you ask them, are you moving out? I don't really feel like it because their mom and dad cooked them dinner, clean, do their own laundry. They
your
don't
mom
ask
is
for
still
rent.
doing your laundry when you're 24 years old.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Like if you're not contributing at all. Even if you're just contributing by picking up your own trash in your home, you know, that's a difference. Like, you don't have to, I wouldn't say contributing only talks about rent, because like I said,
not everyone can pay rent, especially when you're right out of college.
Yeah, because student debt. Hi, dog. Come here.
He's like, oh, mom wouldn't let me sit in her lap, so I'm coming over here.
But hi, Floki.
Hi, Dad. Hi, guys.
But yeah, but I think the difference in that situation, a man-child and just a grown adult like ending up with his parents, is the grown adult is still looking to get out. They're just using this like, hey, mom, hey, dad, thanks for letting me crash here while I'm trying to get on my feet, versus the man-child who just says like, I'll leave when I feel like it.
Even if they're not looking to get out, they can still live with their parents and not be a man-child. Because, like, you think of, like, what girls do. Like, I know it's different between boys and girls. Yeah. But, like, girls live with their parents usually after college, but they have their completely own life. Yeah. Like, you don't have to pay rent or anything, but, like, have a separate life from your parents. Don't depend. Like, you can be a man and live with your parents if you are financially stable, you do your own laundry, you do your own cleaning. Like, you have adult responsibility. You act like an adult and live with your parents. That's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But if you're not acting like an adult and you live with your parents and you go and complain about your parents that you're living with at 25 years old.
I feel like this is a personal attack against somebody.
It's inspired. It's inspired. Yeah. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between being a grown adult and living with your parents and being a man-child living with your parents.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think the term man-child should be reserved for that extreme condition.
That special human being in your life.
Because, like, man-child is just thrown around many times.
Like, just a guy who's childish, like, oh, such a man-child. Like,
yeah. Like, but yeah, like, the extreme example of, like, they're 25 years old, living with mom and dad, not contributing, no rent, no cleaning, no cooking, nothing. Just sitting at home, doing nothing. Yeah. And they have the means to leave. Yeah. But they don't. They're pretty much an infestation of that household.
Or they're not trying. Like, they don't have a job and they don't really care.
Yeah. I think that extreme condition should be reserved for man-child. Oh, yeah. But, like, there's people
psychologists.
And psychologists. There's people who live with their parents and it's just like they're just trying to get on their feet. Yeah. And get enough to move out. That's not a man-child. That's just someone
who's being financially smart.
Yeah. Because, again, newsflash, life doesn't go the way you planned.
Like, I always say, like, I actually wish we would have gotten engaged later because we were not ready for that kind of shock of living on our own and planning a wedding.
I thought, like, by the time I graduated, boom. Mm-hmm. But that's not how it worked.
Nope.
I didn't get a full-time job in the field I studied in until 3 years after I graduated college. Yeah. Actually, wait.
And technically, that wasn't full time.
No, this job currently.
It's only been 3 years.
3 years. Yeah. I graduated in 2014.
I only graduated a year after you?
Yeah.
Go, Lizzie.
But, yeah, so... But that's the extreme case. Now that we have that definition taken down, let's talk about in the terms of video games. Right. If you're a grown adult, like I'll get this all the time. I'm a grown adult. I'm married. I'm like living in a house. I cook, I clean, I pay my bills. Right.
We're pretty good.
We're pretty good.
We're good at this whole adulting thing now. We got it.
And the fact that I still read comic books and play video games, just video games in general. If I say that, hey, I play video games in my spare time, my goodness,
he's
dog.
Not happy with him not letting him up.
So if I say I play video games in my spare time, or if I got the latest issue of Moon Knight, man-child.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, like that's not how that works.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you explain about these video games. Like just recently, I was telling somebody I was reading a book, and they're like, "What book?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it." And they're like, "What book?" And I was like, "It's a Spider-Man book, okay?" Like, and they looked at me with like a little bit of judgment because, like, "Oh yeah, it's a word book. There's no pictures." Well, what's the book about? It's about Spider-Man. But that's the thing. Like, I'm a 27-year-old man. and I'm reading a Spider-Man book.
And it's ingrained in your head that you were supposed to be ashamed of that, and that's why you didn't want to tell them.
Yeah.
Like, you're told that's not right.
Right. And I think that name gets thrown around a lot, Manchild, because even if you pay your bills and you're a grown adult and the extra money coming in, you just purchase a video game or two, you're now considered a man-child.
Yeah.
You know? When
really, if you think about it, there are a lot of comics and video games. Are you okay? That didn't sound good.
I think the worst liquid to go into the wrong pipe
is beer.
Is any form of alcohol.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Because then not only are you hurting your lungs, you're also burning your lungs.
It's the worst when I have whiskey go down the wrong pipe. Like, that's the worst.
Yeah.
It's worse than vodka when that goes down the wrong pipe. Yeah. I'm saying this as if, like, this is happening to me on a daily basis. Like, I don't know.
Actually, it does kind of. It happens to you at least once a week.
Yeah.
Like, you used to get angry with me about how much I choked, but you've been doing that a lot.
I know. Yeah, like, I don't know how to drink liquid, apparently. By the way, is that Clue Harry Potter that we have? Do we have Clue Harry Potter?
No, I think that just looks
it's just regular Clue.
It's regular Clue. It's a mansion, but you think it's
Hogwarts. Yeah, because it had the blue tint.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, do we have Harry Potter Clue?
We now need to get that.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. We need to get it. And I'm sure there is one.
I'm sure there is. And that's why I was like, yo, why aren't we playing...
We should get Harry Potter Monopoly.
We're men children. And isn't it funny, though...
Board games are family friendly.
And isn't it funny that this definition only goes towards men?
Yes.
Now, if you were in the same situation as I was, if you owned your own house and you were doing all this stuff, paying your bills, cooking, cleaning, and you were playing video games all day, and you were reading comic books all day, the definition wouldn't really go.
We don't have a definition, but girls are frowned upon on that stuff. Like,
really?
If I saw a girl, like, before I got into all this stuff, if I heard a girl was, did everything, but I heard that she was, like, buying, like, enthused about video games and comic books, I was like...
Yeah.
I just thought she was weird.
Really?
Like, I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like, do something else. Like, why are you doing these things? Because in my head, it was a boy-man thing.
Yeah.
And it made no sense to me why a grown woman would spend her money on video games and comic books. Like, read a real book, watch TV. Like, girls are supposed to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
That is what we do. So, like, that, I do have to say, that is kind of something, like, for girls. Like, and I always...
It's almost the same like, definition.
Yeah. It's a different way of thinking about it because it's not like, oh, so childish. It's more of like isn't
why?
That for boys? Like, yeah, it's more of like, why? But, and now that I'm in it, I still know that, like, I don't talk about this stuff with my family.
Yeah.
Because I know they're going to be like, why? Like, they're not going to get it. They're going to think it's weird. Or, like, my little sister, when she found out we were watching Let's Plays.
Yeah, Let's Plays of video games.
She's like, don't tell me you're one of those people who watch people play video games on YouTube. And I'm like, I am, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, she had such a judgment in her voice about it. It's like, when she said those people, but still. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, there is an idea around it. Now, as far as just an all-around man-child as for women, we're not seen that way as much. Like, you can live with your parents and do nothing. Like, your judge, girls... What does he have?
I don't know.
It sounds like paper. Where is he?
You keep talking. I'm going to search for the dog.
Okay. This isn't a big room. I don't know how he lost the dog. I think he's in there. Okay. He's on the shelf.
You can keep talking.
Anyway, so it's different for girls. I don't know what he was doing in there. It's different for girls because you are still judged for living with your parents and not having a job. But it's more of the other aspects of your life. If you are 25 years old and live with your parents, don't have a job, aren't in school, you're kind of viewed as like a little princess. Like, clearly you're incapable of life as a whole. And now no one, like, no girls really like them except for other girls like them. Like, I don't know if that part's true, but, like, I personally would frown upon a girl, like, living like that. But I think it has more to do with the fact that women have always been looked at as, like, we need to either be in a job and working our way up the ladder, or married.
Yeah.
Or working on being married, or working on being a mom. Like, you can't just live life as a girl. You must, like, if you're alone, you must be focused on your career. And if you're with a man, you must still either be focused on your career or having babies.
Yeah.
Like, so living with your parents and not having any of that.
Yeah.
Is still looked at as, like, strange.
Mm-hmm.
We're just like, so you just want your dad's money. Like, you just want to be taken care of.
Makes sense.
So, like, we have things like it, but we don't have a name for it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. We don't have a name for it. Yeah, whereas you guys do.
Yeah. So as we end this conversation, let's talk about how to almost combat. Like, if you ever called a man-child, but you're just you're just a grown-up gamer, who's grown up with video games. Games are getting more and more serious. They're almost becoming full-fledged movies now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how you defend yourself. Start the conversation.
I think the best thing to say, and now coming from someone who's not one, or I don't know. Yeah. But coming from me, I would say start off with comparing it to other hobbies of men. Like, yeah, exactly. Sports, fantasy football, watching football. Like, it's the same thing. When someone comes up to you, just don't even act like you're defending yourself. Just go, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
You and the dog looked at the camera and it confused me.
Yeah.
Just ask the person who's telling you you're a man-child. Ask them, say, what do you like to do when you get home from work?
Yeah.
And they're going to tell you, well, I like to read a book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is what I do to relax. I don't enjoy reading.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing video games. It helps my hand-eye coordination, and I enjoy it. Or you can go the other route, like, oh, I don't like reading books, but there's this game that has a really amazing storyline, and I get to play it instead of read it. Like, try going in about that way of asking them, what do they do get home from work? And kind of compare those, because it's the same thing.
I think most people assume man-child as soon as they hear video games, because when the NES first came out, like when the early, like,
gaming consoles.
Yeah, when the first, like, actual gaming consoles came out, it was marketed towards children. Yep. Like, it was in the toy aisle. It was in Toys R Us.
Yeah, it was a toy.
It was a toy. It, like, marketed towards children's families. It was a family thing. And anybody that calls you a man-child is because they haven't seen the growth of video games.
Exactly.
They don't know what's in the world of video games nowadays.
Video games grew up with the kids who had that first console.
Yeah.
They kept marketing them to the same kids who are now adults.
So whenever they call you a man-child, that's a perfect way to start a conversation of, like, well, what do you think about video games? Like, when I say the word video games, what's the first game that comes in your mind? If they say Mario Brothers or anything from the NES, they have a lot of catching up to do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've talked about this in another podcast where there's this guy I was talking to about video games. I was talking a lot about Fallout. And Fallout, and I was telling him it's a game all about morality. You know, you exit a vault into the wasteland, and the whole game is, who are you going to be? You know, it's all about, are you going to be a divine citizen who saves people, or are you going to be evil and steal from people, anything in between? It's a game all about morality. And he said, wow, I didn't know games existed like that.
Exactly.
Because they don't. They think about the Sega Genesis and all that. I think if someone calls you a man-child, perfect way to start a conversation about games. First, start with the question of, when I say video games, what game do you think of?
Yeah.
And then maybe you can get them into video games. We can grow the gaming community. We can all be man-children together.
I mean, that's exactly what you did with me. Like, I honestly thought you were just going to grow out of video games, and I wouldn't have to watch you play video games anymore.
And there was adults that were telling you the same thing.
Exactly. So, and now I realize, like, I didn't know that the games that I like existed.
Yeah, like Life is Strange.
Until you played Life is Strange, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So, like, it was that.
And you didn't really think of Sims as a video game.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. You just thought of it as like, no, it's just Sims, a video game.
Yeah.
Like, And that's the thing about video games. It just brings people together.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who play games that don't think it's a video game, but it's actually a video game. Candy Crush, video game. Do I qualify as they're gamers? That's a different conversation.
Hey, we did everyone's a gamer thing, so they're considered gamers.
Everyone's a gamer.
If they literally spend their every free moment playing Candy Crush, I think we can consider them a gamer because there are people out there like people.
My mom.
Exactly. Yeah. Your mom still plays Candy Crush.
Yeah, I know.
That thing died like 2 years ago. Before we got married, that was dead.
Yeah, but I think we see this term of Manchild. We start to get like hurt about it or annoyed of it or just like whatever. I think
defend
fix yourself. It. Yeah, fix the opportunity of fix the perspective of video games.
Invite them over to play something with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like show them what a video game is,
or tell them to go on YouTube and watch a Let's Play. Show them.
Yeah, show them a really good YouTuber that has a really good Let's Play. But yeah, it should be growing the community, not like saying like whatever. People are missing out with video games. Like people are missing the stories and the experiences of video games.
Yeah.
And even the benefits of video games, like the health benefits altogether. So if anybody comes to you, start that conversation. Make them a gamer. Convert them. You are one of us now.
One of us.
Just in time. And you can tell them about Xbox All Access Pass.
Exactly. They can get started for a low price of $34.99 a month.
Yeah. Or even $22 a month.
Exactly.
Boom. And you get an access of 100 games in Game Pass. Boom. So I think that was a good conversation end right there.
Yeah.
So if you're considered a man-child or you consider yourself a grown-up gamer, first of all, the difference is responsibilities. Can actually contribute somewhere.
Yeah.
And if somebody does call you a man-child, defend it.
Yeah.
Don't be just considered a man-child. Read your comic books, play your video games, love each other, love games, just enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? So before we end this episode, Liz, do you want to remind them what we're doing next week?
Yes. So this upcoming weekend, we are going to be headed to Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. Yay. Where there is a big flea market called Roots. I don't remember the rest name, but it's called Roots. And if you look up Roots in Lancaster, PA, you'll find it.
Yeah. It's spelled like roots, but it's pronounced Roots.
Yes. Roots, if you're looking it up, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And we went last time back in May, and a lot of the vendors there have a ton of old consoles, video games. You can get so much video game stuff for so cheap.
I got a PS2 for $15. I got a PS2 with 2 controllers and 2 games for $15.
And all the wires and everything.
Yeah. $15.
Yeah, for $15. So what I thought we could do, since we're not going to be here on Monday night to record, on Tuesday we're going to go because it's only open on Tuesdays, I think, for some reason.
I don't know what.
It's only open on Tuesday afternoons. So we're going to go on Tuesday and we're going to do a vlog. So we won't have the podcast up on Anchor or any of those, but you can tune into our YouTube channel at...
You can just look up Games and Groceries Podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can look at our YouTube channel and we'll have a vlog posted. We'll probably get it up Wednesday morning. I'll try and put it together Tuesday night if we can, but it's probably going to get posted Wednesday morning. And it's just going to be a vlog of us going to the flea market, and we're going to show you all the different things you can get so that you can go and look at either that one, which would be awesome, or you can just start looking into going to your local thrift stores, and we can even show them reuse it and things like that. We can, so that you can go to your local thrift stores and your local...
We can even show them Just Press Play.
Exactly. Yeah. We're probably just gonna do a whole vlog of different things you can do in Lancaster County, but just show you all the different options that you have possibly near you that you don't know you have. Yeah. So you can look it up too. So it's gonna be a vlog of us showing you cheap ways to get video game consoles and gaming equipment and games.
Boom. So be in tune for that on our YouTube channel. Look up Games and Groceries Podcast. You can also find our podcast, our video versions on YouTube.
Yep.
You can find our podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, Breaker, Stitcher, everywhere. It's everywhere now. It's on Spotify now.
Wherever you're listening to it now, we're on there too.
Boom. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Gaming Groceries. Be sure to answer this week's Table Talk topic, which is what's the best new show on television?
Tell us what to watch.
Yeah, tell us what to watch.
Because we just got cable back.
Yeah, with PlayStation View. And be sure to follow us on Instagram. Just look up Games and Groceries. Games and Groceries, all one word. I post memes there. Sometimes I post behind the scenes photos. Not really. I just mostly post memes. So if you like
memes, I'll start getting into post photos.
Yeah.
Post a picture of the art this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you don't know, if you're watching the video version of this, Liz paints artwork. She's going to be painting every week. And this week she painted a logo.
I attempted the logo for Until Dawn. Mm-hmm. And it didn't turn out the way I expected, but it turned out pretty dang good. Yeah. Probably one of my best pieces since I started painting 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I think we'll end it there. We thank you for listening to this week's episode, and we will come back in 2 weeks because next week we'll be on a vlog in Lancaster County.
Woo!
So thank you again for listening. Love each other. Love gamings because we love you. Have a good week.